Which arm do you put into your jacket first? Have you ever noticed? Have you ever been driving somewhere familiar only to realize you weren't paying any attention how to get there? Many actions in our life become habitual or instinctual. We don't even have to think about them anymore. In fact, a study on college students found that 45% of their behavior every day was due to habit rather than conscious decision making. In our quest to become a better man, building as many good habits while minimizing bad ones is absolutely critical. Good habits allow us to make real progress in our lives. Instead of choosing the right thing being something we find endlessly difficult and frustrating, positive behaviors become automatic and what we gain is secure to us. Aristotle said that virtue, something that we've talked a lot about on the site, was essentially the habit of right doing. At the same time, bad habits can be a huge millstone that prevents us from becoming the men we want to be. They can keep us seemingly locked into a pattern of automatic behavior that keeps our goals ever out of reach. And here's an interesting thing about our brains. Once a bad habit becomes etched in our brains, they never really disappear. But we can override them with the good habit. And today, I'm going to show you how. To change your habits, you first need to understand how they function. The habit loop is a 3-step process described by Charles Duhigg in his book, The Power of Habit. And it's a book I highly recommend you go and pick up. First, there's a cue. This is a trigger that sets off your automatic behavior. This can be a physical location, a smell, other people, or an emotional state. The cue sets off a routine or a set of behaviors, and the routine leads to a reward. So cue, routine, reward. So for example, let's say every afternoon you get up from your desk and grab a Diet Mountain Dew and then you chug it. The cue is how you feel in the afternoon. The routine is getting up and drinking the dew. And the reward is how you feel afterward. But we'll cover more about that in a minute. You see, the reward is what keeps you repeating the loop until it becomes a firmly entrenched habit and you barely think about what you're doing anymore. As we encounter this 3-part habit loop over and over again, the process slowly becomes more and more automatic and firmly entrenched in our minds. While bad habits never really disappear, we don't have to be slaves to them. Research has shown that by becoming aware of the habit loop in our lives and making simple tweaks to it, we can change bad habits to good ones. To change a habit, you must simply follow the golden rule of habit change. Keep the cue and reward, change the routine. That's it. It sounds simple, but if you're deliberate about it, it can really work. Here's a step-by-step guide that Charles Duhigg suggests using to hack your habit loop. Step 1. Identify the routine. The first step is to identify the routine you want to change in your life. For example, do you want to stop checking your email incessantly? Do you want to stop watching porn every night? How about quitting your caffeine habit? Or maybe you want to quit playing video games all weekend and start working out. This is the part of the habit loop that we'll be tweaking in order to change our undesirable habits. Step 2. Identify the reward. It may seem easy to identify the rewards of our habits. It could be like nachos, orgasm, distraction. But what you're actually craving may be different, and it may be possible to satisfy that deeper craving in a more positive way. To figure out the reward you're really craving, conduct a series of experiments designed to test various hypotheses. So let's go back to the Diet Mountain Dew every afternoon example. You want to change this habit because it's costing you money, and let's face it, Diet Dew isn't very good for you. To begin your experiments, the next time you feel that all too familiar pull towards getting that beautiful, delicious neon nectar, adjust your routine so you get the same reward, but in a different way. So on the first day of your experiment, drink a glass of water instead. On another day, simply take a walk outside, and so on. When you commence the substitute routine, set a 15-minute alarm on your watch or computer. Then, when the 15 minutes is up, ask yourself, do I still feel the urge for Diet Mountain Dew? Evaluate the state of your craving. If your urge to do the dew isn't satisfied by one of your new routines, then cross that one off your list. On the other hand, if the craving for dew does indeed disappear after, say, taking a walk outside, then you've discovered that your dew habit was in fact being driven by a craving for a quick energy boost. By substituting the soda routine for the walk routine, you can satisfy your craving for a pick-me-up reward, but do it in a healthier, more positive way. Step 3. Identify the cue. Once you identify the reward, it's time to identify the cue. It's that thing that triggers the craving. Remember, cues can be things like location, a time, an emotional state, other people, or some immediate preceding action. Whenever you get the urge for Mountain Dew, write down answers that correspond to the 5 possible cue categories. Do this for an entire week. After a while, you should be noticing a reoccurring cue. For example, you may find that you get a craving for Mountain Dew whenever you started feeling sleepy in the afternoon. Step 4, create a plan. After you identify the cue and reward, you can start making plans to change your routine by creating what's called an implementation intention. An implementation intention is an if-then phrase that links a situational cue to a specific action. For example, to kick your Mountain Dew habit, you could create an implementation like this. When I feel tired at 2 p.m., I will get up and walk around outside for 15 minutes. You'll need to be methodical about actually implementing your implementation intention. Depending on how entrenched your bad habit was, overriding it with your new good habit could take a few weeks. Be patient, stick to your implementation intention, and change will come. A final ingredient necessary for lasting habit change is to believe that change is possible. Researchers have found that the best way to foster that belief in yourself is to surround yourself with a supportive group of people. If you can, find an accountability partner that you can check in with about your progress. So let's recap. Here's how you change a habit. Just all you have to do is follow the golden rule of habit change. Keep the cue and reward, change the routine. That's it. Every day your habits are shaping you as a man. What habit will you start transforming for the better today? Until next time, this is Brett McKay telling you to stay manly.